Why ancient Egyptians created art for the dead? We usually think of art as something made to be seen, to be admired, remembered, loved. But imagine a culture where the most beautiful paintings and sculptures were created, so that no living person would ever see them. That was ancient Egypt. Today we'll explore why Egyptian art was not made for the living, how images replaced human sacrifice, why people were depicted in such a strange way, and how belief turned art into a tool for eternal life. The statues and wall paintings found inside pyramids were created in spaces no one could enter. Pyramids were not built for beauty. For the ancient Egyptians, the pharaoh was not just a ruler, he was a divine being, a bridge between gods and humans. When his earthly mission ended, he had to return to where he came from, to the gods. The pyramid was not a monument, it was a portal home. Its shape helped the soul ascend to the heavens, while its massive stone body protected the pharaoh's remains. Because to the Egyptians the body was not disposable, it was essential for the soul's continued existence. That belief gave birth to mummification. But preserving the body was not enough. The Egyptians created an indestructible double of the person so the soul would always have a place to return to. That's why sculptures of pharaohs were placed deep inside tombs, often sealed away, never meant to be seen. One ancient Egyptian word for sculptor can be translated as the one who preserves life. These images were not portraits, they were anchors for the soul. That's why the faces appear calm, emotionless, timeless. The goal was not likeness, but essence. In early civilizations, rulers were often buried with real people, wives, servants, slaves sacrificed to follow them into the afterlife. Egypt abandoned this practice. Instead, images replaced the living. Tomb walls filled with scenes of daily life, servants, feasts, farms, hunting, bread, wine. Artists could even improve reality, adding what the deceased never had in life, so the afterlife would be better. There were also ready-made papyrus scrolls texted with blessings for the dead. They left a blank space for the name. I grant you 10,000 loaves of bread, cattle, garments. If it was written, it existed. Writing was considered a divine invention. Words did not describe reality, they created it. Egyptian art followed a strict canon. The human body was shown from its most recognizable angles: the head in profile, the eye from the front, the chest facing forward, the legs from the side. Not because artists lacked skill, but because this made the figure legible to the gods. Before painting, artists drew a grid on the wall and placed every part with mathematical precision. Scale indicated status. The pharaoh was the largest, his wife smaller, servants smallest. There were no accidents in Egyptian art. And yet, one man dared to change everything. Pharaoh Amenhotep IV, known as Akhenaten. He introduced the worship of a single god, Aten, the solar disk whose rays end in hands giving life. He changed his name, abandoned the capital, and distanced himself from the old priesthood. Art changed with him. For the first time we see emotion, tenderness, family scenes. The pharaoh appears imperfect with elongated features, fragile limbs, a human body. But this freedom was brief. After his death, Egypt returned to tradition. A system that lasted millennia proved stronger than one vision. The Egyptian afterlife was fully mapped out. The Book of the Dead offered instructions what to say, where to go, how to pass judgment. The heart was weighed against the feather of truth. If it was too heavy, it was devoured by the monster Ammit. To protect themselves, the dead carried texts declaring what they had not done. If it was written, it was true. Art in tombs was not decoration. It was a precise guide for eternal existence. The ancient Egyptians created art so they could live after death. And us, in the 21st century, why do we create art? To be remembered, or to remind ourselves how to live?